What's good, YouTube? It's Pay, and today I'm back with another video. And 2022 has been a pretty interesting year for pretty much everything, not just rap, but for rap as well. Been a pretty interesting year, some ups, some downs. I think overall I can say it's been a pretty good year though. Like, not bad, not too bad. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but it's coming to an end. And as this year comes to an end, a new year is on the horizon, that being 2023. And I just want to make a quick prediction video just to get some of the stuff that I think is going to happen out into the air. Obviously most of the stuff's not going to happen. I'm not a time traveler. I'm not somebody who can see into the future. But I'm just somebody here to give you my predictions and guesses on some stuff that I think can happen in 2022 with a little bit of reasoning. Obviously, I'm not just going to say stuff just to say it, but a little bit of reasoning and some things that I think are very possible and some stuff that I may even like to see, not just some stuff that I think will happen, just some stuff that I may like to see as well. So the first prediction I have for 2023, and some of these will be hot takes, some of them won't be. So this one's kind of a mildly hot take, not super hot, but the first prediction I have for 2023 is that Uzi, Carti, Travis, and A$AP Rocky all drop this year. All drop an album, not just drop a single or anything like that. Okay, so obviously none of these guys dropped in 2022. I don't think any of them dropped in 2021 either. Yeah, no, they didn't. Unless you want to count Uzi's, unless you want to count his EP as dropping, but that's not an album. You know what I mean when I say drop, an album. So obviously, Uzi just dropped Eternal Take in 2020. So 2 years isn't that long of a time to take off. 3 years isn't that long to take off a time off in between albums. Obviously, we want albums, from guys like Uzi over and over and over again. But 3 years isn't that bad. Same thing with Carti. 2 years. He basically dropped in the beginning of 2021. It came out on Christmas of 2020. So, again, it hasn't been too long. Still, he went pretty much the whole year with no music, which is crazy. And then Travis obviously has not dropped since Astroworld. He hasn't dropped a full album. And then, obviously, with the stuff that happened at the Astrofest, he had to take some time off, which makes a lot of sense. And then A$AP Rocky just hasn't dropped in forever, which is an A$AP Rocky thing. It's all these guys' kind of thing to just not drop music. I don't know why. But all four of them, I think are due for a project in 2023. I can definitely see it. Carti's been teasing some stuff, or well, not even really teasing stuff, just saying it's time and, making fans get a little excited. I think he's definitely going to deliver in like the first quarter of 2023. The pink tape for Uzi was definitely supposed to come out in 2022. And it just never happened. He did drop the Red and White EP, which again is a good sign towards him dropping. And then Travis said that Utopia was supposed to drop before the end of 2022, but that never happened. And now is being pushed to 2023. So for those three dudes, I'm pretty confident about them dropping in 2023. I expect them to. A$AP Rocky, who knows? I'm not really holding my breath. He had a single here and there, but I'm not really holding my breath on that one. But I do think that he will drop. If you had to give me a coin flip, yes or no, 50-50, I would say he does drop. So Uzi, Carti, Travis, and A$AP Rocky will all drop in 2023. They will all drop an album. Moving on to my next prediction. This one is a little bit hotter of a take. I think it makes sense though, and that's 21 Savage will sell 200K first week on his next project. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous. 200K is a lot for, 21 Savage, but still, if you look at the numbers, it's not that bad. So, in 2022, obviously, he has the project with Drake, Her Loss, which did crazy numbers, and of course, any project with Drake is going to do crazy numbers. But I think that it's Savage's time. I think he's almost bursting that bubble towards becoming a superstar. I think he's approaching that. And again, I know superstar is a word that's thrown out a whole bunch, but I don't use the word superstar lightly. I think there's probably like 7 to 10 superstars in rap right now, and I think 21 Savage is slowly but surely closing in on that group. So I think 200K isn't too out of the question for him. I think that he could realistically get there, especially if you look at Savage Mode 2's numbers when it came out in 2020. Savage Mode 2 sold 171K first week. 171. That's a lot. Now, I know it's a project with him and Metro is one of the most popular producers and one of the most talented producers out right now. But I still think a solo 21 Savage project can reach the numbers of 200K. Is it a little bit, am I pushing it a little bit? Maybe. But I think he can get there, especially with the rise in popularity after her loss. You know, a great project, if I may say so myself. And I think a lot of people are going to be riding high on the 21 Savage hype train. So I do think that he will reach 200K first week. He'll be in that Lil Baby range. You know, Lil Baby passed him up in terms of popularity in 2020. Like, passed him by a decent amount, I think. You know, I mean, 2020 was basically Lil Baby's year. But I think that 21 Savage has slowly but surely kind of caught up. Baby just sold like 214, 215K, and I think 21 Savage will reach around 200K. So that is my second prediction for 2023. My third prediction for 2023 is kind of a hot take. This one's definitely one of the hotter ones that I have on this list. My third prediction is that Young Nudy will get a top 5 Billboard song. Now, I know this may sound a little bit strange, but just hear me out. Young Nudy is like, I don't even want to call him like an underrated rapper anymore, because I feel like everyone knows he's underrated. Everyone knows he's underappreciated. It's kind of like you're underrated, but you're not. You can only be underrated for so long. If everyone knows you're underrated, how underrated are you really? But maybe that's just internet discourse. Maybe people in real life aren't as high on Young Nudy, but still. I do believe that Nudy will get a top 5 Billboard song, because Nudy makes music that's he makes hit music. He makes music that can be played on the aux. He makes music that everyone can listen to. He makes music that's very easily accessible, but very, very good at the same time. And it's kind of like cult-like almost. Like his music, it spreads like a virus. And I think that all it takes is one big song. I think he can do it. I really do. You know, he makes songs that go super viral for a short period of time. And, you know, they kind of flame out. But I think if he hits a right pocket where nobody's really dropping, there's not a lot of singles coming out, and he drops something new and a lot of people love it, I think he could reach the top 5. He has that type of skill. He has that type of hit-making ability, and I just really believe that he can do that. I really believe that Young Nudy's popularity will burst in a matter of time. It's kind of random. You know, obviously you can be good. You can be as good as you want at rapping. You can be as good as you want at making music, but sometimes it's just random. And I think that Young Nudy will get his random moment of just spike in popularity in 2023. I really can see it happening. He has a lot of good music. He has a lot of really good club bangers, party bangers that people will listen to. And I think he'll make that one song that really just sends his career to the moon and gets him in the top 5 of the Billboard charts. All right, for the next one, this one's not that hot of a take. It's a pretty mild take, just a regular prediction. I think that Nicki Minaj makes her comeback. I think she'll have, you know, a brand new album, you know, media tours, interviews and all that stuff, festival performances, and maybe even her own tour. That might be pushing it a little bit, considering she had a baby not that long ago. But I do think that she will make a very, like, real comeback. This won't be like, you know, some little feature here, feature there, album, or not album, single there, single here. Like, I think this will be a real comeback for Nicki. I think she will drop a project in 2023. Nicki has been going through a lot on social media in terms of going back and forth with people, and I think that it's kind of lighting a fire underneath her. I think that a main reason for why Nicki's been kind of chill is, like, she doesn't really feel challenged. She doesn't really feel threatened. And that's not to say that these new girls are challenging and threatening her. I think it's just more so of that she didn't really feel that fire anymore. She didn't feel that hunger. And now that she sees these girls and they're kind of disrespectful, you know, they're not giving her the respect she feels that she deserves. They're not bowing at the knee of Nicki Minaj anymore. So she's like, hold on, let me get back in the studio. Let me show y'all who I am. And I think that she's going to do that in 2023. I could really see her making a strong comeback. Even at the age of 40, I believe she just turned 40. So shout out to her. But I think even at the age of 40, she's going to come back and be like, yeah, this is still my rap game whenever I want it. I'm still the best female rapper alive whenever I feel like being it. So don't forget that. I think this will be kind of her year to kind of remind us all of that. So not that hot of a take, but I think that Nicki will drop an album. Moving on to the next one. I think that Glorilla will sell 60K first week on a debut album. Now, 60K isn't crazy numbers. It's not anything miraculous. It's not anything, you know, out of the ordinary. But I think that those are good numbers. That's definitely a great sign. You know, somebody like Kodak Black is selling like 60K right now. So to have her on the same level as him in terms of album sales is pretty good. Her last project, it was like a small, like 9-song EP. It did like 25K or something like that. It wasn't that big. It wasn't that promoted. And it was only like 9 songs. So I'm sure she could get those numbers up just with adding songs on alone, plus promotion, plus interview tour, plus all that extra stuff that comes with an album dropping. So I do expect Glorilla to sell around 60K first week if she drops an album in 2023. I think she's a really, really big star in the making. I know she already has a couple hit songs. She already is, kind of made her own in terms of being somewhat of a star in 2022, but I think she's really going to keep breaking through. I really do see her being one of the biggest stars of this generation. Like, I think she will be. Yeah, this is another prediction, but this isn't like more of like a 2023 thing. This is just like an in general thing. I think she will end up being the biggest artist from CMG, Yo Gotti's label. The biggest artist from CMG right now is Moneybagg Yo, and I think she will pass him in popularity. Give her like 2-3 years, because she just appeals to everybody. Everyone loves Glorilla. I haven't met a single person who doesn't like her music, at least up until this point. I haven't met a single person that listens to rap that's like, nah, she's trash, or like, oh, I just can't listen to that type of music, because she's loved by women and men, which is a hard thing to do for a lot of women or female rappers, because a lot of men are like, oh, all they rap about is their bodies and this and that. And even though Glorilla raps about some of the stuff that these other female rappers rap about, it's just something about her that gets people to listen to her. So I think she's a star in the making, and I think that she will sell around 60K first week on her debut album in 2023. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, those are decent numbers. Everyone's numbers seem to be kind of down. So if she's selling around the range of a Kodak Black, I think that's a good sign for the future. My next prediction, and this one is kind of based on the legal system. I'm not really sure what's going on with his situation, but I'm going to make it regardless. I think that Youngboy goes on tour in 2023. He's been talking about going on tour since he beat the Fed case, and I really hope he does it. It'll be a great tour, and I think that it'll sell out around 90% of the stadiums, but they'll be, or not stadiums, 90% of the arenas that he goes into. I think he'll do like NBA-sized arenas, places that seat somewhere between 12 to 25,000 people, and I think he'll sell out most of them. I really do. People have been clamoring for a Youngboy tour for years now, especially since he's been on house arrest for so long. Then we had the pandemic, so it's really like, I don't know the last time Youngboy's even had a live performance. It's been a minute, to say the least. Without actually Googling it and finding it, it's been a minute. It's been a couple of years. So people are clamoring for a Youngboy tour, Youngboy live performances. Youngboy's popularity has only grown since 2018, 2019, the pandemic, and so on and so forth. So he's really one of the hottest artists in the game right now, and he has one of those loyal fan bases ever, and he could really sell out some arenas. Like, I think he could probably do LA like 3 or 4 times and sell it out every single night, which, some people do that. Kendrick's done it, but I think he could really do some stuff like that. He can do New Orleans and sell it out 4 times in a row. Like, I think he could do some crazy stuff like that. I think he'll sell out 90% of his tour. There may be a couple of cities, maybe like, he stops in Minnesota after he's in Kansas and Minnesota doesn't show up, like something like that. But I think that he can go on tour and sell out around 90% of the tour. So I really hope he does, because I would love to go to a Youngboy show. I think it'd be lit. I think it'd be a great performance. And I think that will happen in 2023. Youngboy will go on tour. The next one is Soulja Boy and Yeat will have a beef. I'm not sure if this has happened yet. I feel like it has. And if it hasn't, then I feel like it will happen in 2023. Soulja Boy kind of beefs with everybody. It's kind of like his thing. And it's kind of like damn near a rite of passage to beef with Soulja Boy as you're on the way up. And Yeat is the guy who's like coming from the underground and making his way up to the mainstream. And he doesn't really had any major beefs as he's been growing. Like, he had some stuff with some underground guys back in the day, and then some stuff where he said something like he was gonna crush Nav's album, but that wasn't like real beef or anything like that. But I could definitely see Soulja Boy going at him. Soulja's just that type of guy. They might ask Yeat in an interview who his favorite artists were growing up, and he might say like, Young Thug, Uzi, and someone else, and Yeat will be like, or not Yeat, Soulja Boy will be like, well, I paved the way. I was the first one. And I could definitely see it happening like that. And Soulja Boy probably just ending up in a one-sided beef where Yeat doesn't really respond to him. Maybe he gives him like one line in a song. But I could definitely see Soulja Boy and Yeat beefing. Soulja Boy just going crazy on social media, on Instagram Live every single day, cussing Yeat out and getting no response, which, kind of happens a lot for Soulja Boy. But yeah, that's my one like negative, I guess, prediction you could say. My one beef prediction. Soulja Boy and Yeat will have a beef because Yeat somehow slighted him in an interview when they're like, oh, did you listen to Soulja Boy growing up? And he's like, nah, not really. He just was never my guy or something like that. And Soulja Boy just, runs a mile with it and goes crazy all over him on social media. So yeah, I think Soulja Boy and Yeat will have a beef in 2023. And my last but biggest prediction, this is kind of two predictions in one, and one of them's not that hot of a take. The other one's a super hot take. Well, I guess I'll leave that up to you to decide. But the first one is that Drake will go on tour. Drake has not been on tour in a really, really long time. It's been years. I want to say 2016 was the last time he's on tour. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a while since Drake's been on tour. A minute. And, people will always love to see Drake. Drake's one of the most famous artists in the world, so people are always going to want to see Drake live perform. That's just a thing. Like, Drake can sell out an arena till the day he's dead, probably. Till the day he's 85 years old. He could probably still do it at 85. But that's the first part of my prediction. The second part of the prediction plays into the first part as well. I think Drake retires in 2023. Now, I know this sounds crazy because why would he retire? He's still doing crazy numbers. He's still doing this. He's doing that. But almost every single rapper, athlete, celebrity, whatever, has a moment in their career where they're getting a little older. They may not be as good as they once were. They're still pretty good, though. And they just retire. And it's oftentimes not for the long haul. So I will say that I don't expect Drake to stay retired. I don't expect him to stay retired for more than like a year or 2 years. But I do think Drake might just throw it out there, that, hey, I'm retiring. This is my last album. This is my last tour. And I'm not saying he does the tour in 2023, but I think he'll definitely announce it like, yeah, this is my retirement tour. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make an album specifically for the retirement. I'm going to have a tour. And yeah, I'm going to go right off into the sunset. I think he does that. He talked about on Views that he was going to retire at like 35. I think he's 36 now, so he already passed that little standard that he held for himself. But I do think Drake retires in 2023. I think it may be like a Jay-Z thing. He retires for a couple years and comes back and does a whole bunch of stuff. But everyone retires, Michael Jordan retired. Everyone retires. It's just a common theme with like athletes and rappers where they retire because, they're like, I'm not really feeling it. And then they go sit home for maybe like 6 months, little Tommy over there starts getting on their nerves, their kid, their girlfriend or their wife starts getting on their nerves a little bit. And they sit there and they go, damn, like, I really don't have anything else to do. So they make a comeback. So I do think that Drake, his retirement won't last very long, but I do think that he hits us with a kind of random retirement announcement, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to retire. It won't be just like, oh, I'm retiring, I'm done. It'll be like, y'all, I'm retiring, but I got one more album, one more tour. I'm going to make this the best thing I possibly can. It's going to be lit. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great time. We're going to ride off to the sunset, and this is going to be the last hurrah. I think he's going to do something like that in 2023. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but I could definitely see it. But those are my predictions for rap in 2023. They're kind of random, kind of all over the place, but let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And what are some predictions that you have for rap in 2023 that you want to share in the comment section down below? And if all my predictions suck and none of them will happen, tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me why I'm the dumbest person on YouTube in the comment section and why I don't deserve a microphone. But either way, if you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. Peace.